hopefully everyone's here as it pertains to community solar and how it can help out municipalities and communities. Again, my name is Ethan. I am a business development representative here at OYA. I've been here for a year and a half. Just go to the next slide real quick. That's my beautiful face, as you can also see here. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about what community solar is, who OYA are as a company, what we do. Diving a little bit into some of the work that we've done in the past with other municipalities and communities. And then we're gonna have a nice little question and answer period towards the end, because I know lots of you will have questions just in regards to community solar, how the billing process works, yada, yada. But really happy you could be here today, and let's get started. So some key insights. It's become very apparent over the last year or 2 years that there has been a dramatic increase in how expensive electricity has become. We've seen a 16% increase in costs in dollars per kilowatt hour over the last year since December of 2021, which really kind of brings into the fold why a program like community solar is so important, as it does provide you the ability to save money on your utility bills. To kind of work with that as well, one of the things that we have noticed and one of the trends that we've seen is how important the state is making the usage of renewable energy moving into the future. So not only the state, but the federal government has committed a significant amount of money and resources to ensuring that all of their grids are 70% used sustainable energy moving into the future, and by 2030. And what New York has done specifically to help with that is they've put aside $4.4 billion that NYSERDA is going to delegate to private businesses to help fund the use of that renewable energy. So they want to see 4 gigawatts of new renewable energy by 2030. So all of the reasons to kind of want to get into renewable energy now, and why it's so important for municipalities specifically to be looking towards the future, as this isn't going to be a trend, this isn't going to be a fad, this is happening right now. This is what the state wants, this is what the government wants, and we want to make sure that nobody's left behind and everybody's on board moving forward. So a little bit about OYA Renewables specifically. We are a community solar developer and provider. So unlike a lot of community solar companies that you'll see in the state, we actually lease land, build projects, develop them, and then maintain our customer basis moving forward. Instead of having to deal with multiple companies where one company does the building and all of the knows all the statistics and all the data behind the actual facility, and then another company that handles the subscription, we're going to do both. So all of your residents, all of your businesses, the actual municipality itself is only going to ever have to deal with one company, my beautiful face, and our really great team that works with customer relationship and acquisition, which makes us kind of, unique in a sense, being one of the top 10 providers for community solar in North America. We have tons of projects that are currently online, many more coming within the next 2 years. And are focusing specifically on how we can get people who don't have access to community solar into the fold. So people who have LMI or who fall into the LMI category, making sure that we can provide renewable energy access for them. And as well as being an extremely diverse company, that's part of our mission statement is to, it's community solar for all, putting the community in community solar. As corny as that is, it really is kind of our main focus and what we want to do here at OYA. So talking about all these projects across the state, specifically to focus on New York right now, we've got projects up in Niagara County, for those up in Buffalo, and Amherst, all the way down to Allegheny, all the way up to Jefferson again, and then down to Orange County. One of the things that people get a little bit confused about sometimes is, does the project need to be close to me in order for me to sign up? The answer is no. We like to spread our projects out to make it, close to home for certain folks. But at the end of the day, if you're in Buffalo and have your energy supplied by National Grid, you could get power from a Jefferson County project, and it's going to be exactly the same as you would getting one from our Niagara project. So it has very little to do with where you are as much as it does that we're providing capacity for the utility company that you get your power from. So nice little map. It talks a little about Roman A, which is one of our projects. Yeah, and you can see this is maps also available on our website, which you can follow up with later. But what is community solar? So hopefully a lot of you have at least heard of community solar before. For those who haven't, essentially it is the state trying to promote using renewable energy in their utility companies' grids. So the state went, hey, here's a ton of money for folks to start building these projects. And they really wanted to focus on companies like OYA building these projects and then providing green energy to National Grid, to NYSEG, to these big utility companies. It's essentially a no-risk, hassle-free utility savings program. But in terms of how it actually works, OYA, this is a step-by-step process now, builds a large-scale solar farm and then gives two things. Obviously, solar farms generate power, very important, but then they also generate community solar credits, or just there's solar credits, or RECs. And what we do is we give all that, the power and the credits, to a utility company. I'm going to use National Grid as an example, who then are able to use that power and distribute it through their grid, but then also distribute the credits, and that's kind of where that savings comes from. So Jim owns Jim's Bagel Shop. I like using Jim and Jim's Bagel Shop as an example. He subscribes to community solar. National Grid goes, oh, great, Jim has signed up for community solar. He's supporting community solar and renewable energy in his community. We're going to give him a little bit of that credit that we have now, and it's going to show up on his bill. I'll talk a little bit more about the billing process later, but it's essentially a very easy system of a subscriber getting credits from a utility company, and the utility company is getting that power and those credits from the solar farms that we build. Very easy cycle, and a lot less complicated than a lot of people think. And the benefits for community solar, kind of make community solar almost seem like a no-brainer, and one of those things that might be too good to be true. It's going to be a product that you can use as a resident. So put it on your house, on your business, for municipalities specifically. If you have town halls, community centers, schools, all can be subscribed to community solar. It doesn't matter the size or what the building is. It doesn't just have to be residents. It can be anyone. So it really is community solar for all. Who it helps specifically is those who don't have either the infrastructure or the access to renewable energy. So if you're a business and you really want to get involved and use, green energy, lower your carbon footprint, but you don't want to put these ugly solar panels on your roof, community solar is perfect. If you're a resident of an apartment and you don't own the roof over your head necessarily, community solar is perfect for you. You own a house that has a roof that maybe was built a couple of years ago and can't support panels, community solar is perfect for you. What it really does is help the Jim's Bagel Shops of the world save, knowing that margins are razor thin, and that extra 10% can really make a world of a difference. And in terms of residents, we've seen a really great kind of feedback from communities as we were able to help them access grants, which is kind of where this next slide comes in terms of the grants available for municipalities when they reach certain levels or goals for subscribing residents in their area. So if you're a municipality, so a village, a town with under 40,000 people, and you're able to subscribe 10 residents in your community, you're going to get access to a $5,000 grant from NYSERDA. OYA does a great job at helping you with that application process for the grant. getting you signed up, applying for the grant. We're there with you the entire way. We're going to build that community with you guys in terms of, putting the right systems and tools in place to help gain those 10 subscribers. And then when it's time to apply for the grant, we're going to be there with you also. One of the most important things that we've seen is establishing that sense of community. And that's one of the things that I think OYA does a lot better than a lot of people in this space, is building that community the right way. You get a lot of door knockers when it comes to energy and switching your billing to this and that. But what we really want to focus on is using the right channels, going through the municipal leaders, going through governing bodies, and subscribing town halls, the community centers, big municipal items first, getting them onto community solar, and then stepping in and saying to the residents, hey, your mayors, your supervisors, your board members all support this program. They're all on board. In fact, they're using it. Now it's a lot easier to kind of build that community, build that subscriber base within the municipality itself, instead of knock, 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 hey, sign this piece of paper, save a certain amount of money. That's not the way we want to do these things. It's really important to us to educate people, to build trust within communities, and do things the right way using the right channels, which is why, we've kind of taken this approach of looking at municipalities first. And what makes it, a lot easier for us to help you access these NYSERDA grants is because we're really kind of getting in there and establishing a sense of community with the people involved or the people who live in your municipality. So for small, medium populations, anything lower than 40,000, that 10 subscriber count gives you a $5,000 grant. For anyone over 40,000, it's 25, so it's a little bit more, but then you get a $15,000 grant. So at the end of the day, free money, you're saving money on your electricity bills, you're lowering your carbon footprint, and as a municipality, you're getting grant money as well from NYSERDA, which is fantastic. So to kind of use a couple case examples here, the first one, and this was one of my first projects I ever did, was with the village of Perry. So 4 months into me working here, I drove down, went to a farmer's market in the village, and was able to meet a lot of the people involved in that community. One of the things that we like to focus on doing, again, building that community, building those relationships, is getting to know people, right? Nothing is better than engaging face-to-face with a potential subscriber who can ask you questions in real time. You can answer them. It's not just a big company coming in and making you sign pieces of paper that you don't understand. It's real people having real conversations and talking. And that's one of the great things about the village of Perry, was the fact that we were able to attend this farmer's market. I was able to meet current subscribers, one woman named Larissa, who I had conversations with months prior leading up to getting down there, which was fantastic. But what the program actually has done for the village is has saved them $7,000 a year by signing up buildings around the community. And over the 25-year lifespan of the project, that's going to be roughly $180,000. So again, pretty substantial savings for a free to sign up, no cost program, right? It's just going to run directly with your normal billing, which again, we will get into a bit later. It takes about the offset for CO2 is about 350 metric tons, which is a lot. So again, doing a great job of reducing your carbon footprint. That's the equivalent of taking 80 vehicles off the road. And some of the programs that we've seen, or the places we were able to sign up, were businesses, one of which I will talk to in a little bit later, called Prehistoric World, as well as town halls, and then residents within the community. Another case study being for the town of Independence. We actually have two projects located close to Independence, one of which is called Independence East, which we will probably be signing most of our new National Grid subscribers to, which is fantastic. Thankfully, that project's doing really well. Got a lot of room for capacity as well for our new subscribers. But for Independence, a little bit smaller, a little bit more spaced out. We're saving them around almost $40,000 over the 25 years. Their savings as far as carbon dioxide is a little bit lower, but we were able to sign up one of their schools, which is, one of the things we hear a lot about. Big power users, usually schools are. Very great to sign up, really great for community solar, and then awesome to run kind of community campaigns kind of out of the schools as well, as they usually tend to be central hubs for talent shows, gym activities. People tend to receive a lot of information and gather around school districts like that. So it's been really great to have the Whitesville Central School on as well. My beautiful face again. This is Nicola Armacost. She is the mayor of Hastings on Hudson. Her and I met at the NICOM conference in Bolton recently, a couple weeks ago, which again is hopefully where I've met a few of you. And this slide really kind of looks at outlining the community aspect and how we want to build those communities. The first of which being educating, right? So webinars, doing this right now, community events, online resources, and then, how can we actually give you flyers and handouts for your community after we've established a municipal campaign. So this is the kind of every step of the way, wanting to educate and help people learn more about community solar. We think that's one of the most important things, the educational side of this. A lot of people don't know often when they sign up for new utility programs where the power is coming from, who the people at the company are. So that education side of things is extremely important to us, and I always try my best to make sure that the residents or the businesses that I'm subscribing know exactly about what to expect from the program, how long it's running, all the ins and outs, the T's and C's of the contracts. Super important for us here at OYA. Now, this is the side that we really pride ourselves on, is the giving back aspect of community solar, right? So again, that cheesy putting community and community solar line I said at the beginning, this kind of relates to that. Hosting community events, being there for farmers markets. We want to be there. We want to meet folks face to face. Giving back to businesses and residents through our sponsored referral program is something I'm very excited about. It is called our OYA Soul Referral Program. And essentially what it does is, you've signed up for community solar. That's fantastic. Good job. You have a mom, you have a dad, you have a sister, you have a friend, you have a brother. Can we get them subscribed as well? And we've created a referral goals and a referral awards program that allows people to kind of branch out, tell their friends and family about community solar, get them signed up, and then actually get a little bit of a benefit for helping lower their family, their friends' carbon footprints as well, while saving them a little bit of money. The cool part about the program, however, is for businesses. So we have taken a kind of personalized approach in terms of how the sponsorship for businesses work. We, again, going back to that prehistoric world business that I outlined from Perry, they're essentially a reptile sanctuary. And we told them if they were able to sign up 3 businesses in the area, we would donate money to support one of the animals there. So, focusing on community, focusing on building real, genuine relationships with people is what we want to do for a program that is inevitably going to help the planet, is mandated by the state, and is going to save folks and taxpayers a decent chunk of money. So that giving back portion, is where we excel, where we think our competitive advantage is in terms of, establishing community with our subscriber base. Now, how does the billing system work? And I assume a lot of questions will be about this, so I want to spend a decent amount of time at least kind of walking through it. A community solar agreement is about 11 pages long, at least one from OYA. Our legal team has done a really great job of having the first 3 pages of that agreement outline all the terms and conditions in the back of the agreement. So it's very digestible and easy to understand. Essentially how it works is we receive a bill, such as this National Grid one here you see on your screen, and we are able to create an agreement for the potential new subscriber. Using historical data and being able to size the account properly. We send that agreement back. They sign in 2 little sections on page 3, send it to us. And then 3 months from that point, which we allocate to give National Grid and NYSEG enough time to actually sign the person up. I could get into the ins and outs of working with a utility company, and how their product processes can be quite tedious. But we essentially ask for that 3-month time just to make sure that we can get you on the program properly. After you sign the agreement, 3 months from then, you'll start seeing what is on this bill in red. You'll see transfer of community value stack credit, which will take roughly between 7.5% to 10% off of each monthly bill. And we say that estimate of 7.5% to 10% because the actual month-to-month savings depend on the size of the account, the usage of the account, and the amount of energy that the solar project provides. Our team has done a really great job in establishing what's called like credit stacking. So essentially, if the project produces more than 10% of savings for you in a month, we're able to save some of that credit and distribute it to you in later months, like the winter, when the solar farm isn't producing as much energy. Now, the billing system is very straightforward. Your supply isn't going to be affected, your rate for supply or demand, neither of which are going to be affected by subscribing for community solar. And the billing process is just your one standard bill with that new fun other charges and adjustments line at the bottom, which is going to take a little bit of money off every single month. And that's where the solar credits come in. So the old system, and a lot of companies still work like this, believe me, where you'll get one bill for your community solar bill and your normal National Grid bill, and then you've got to do a bunch of complicated math and send money back to people, and that's terrible. Way too complicated, way too much to ask our residential subscribers and business owners to do. You've got enough on your plate already. We have consolidated billing, which is one simple bill. It's your National Grid bill every single month. It's going to have that changes and adjustments part on it. Very straightforward. Really no confusion there. As far as the agreement is concerned, for residents specifically, we ask for about 60 days for cancellation, no cancellation fee, just letting us know when you would like to, if you would like to ever be removed off the program. I'm not sure why you would be, it's free money. But if you would, it's a 60-day notice just to give us enough time to properly get you off of the program. If you move locations within the same, if you're a National Grid customer in Allegheny and you decide to move to Jefferson, you're still a National Grid customer, you just got to let us know about the move and we can kind of switch the agreement around to your new location. So again, all very straightforward. We got a great team here that's going to take care of all your needs in terms of filling out agreements and the actual billing process itself. And finally, we're going to talk about OYA's energy transition platform. So kind of as we are a one-stop shop for community solar in this terms of, leasing land, leasing unused farmland, developing the projects, building them, and then maintaining our subscriber base, we also want to be a one-stop shop for all things renewable. So clearly we do solar power. If I haven't touched on that enough, that I have not done my job correctly. But we also look at battery storage, EV charging, and geothermal. So if you are a municipality that's looking to get in more into EV chargers, I know a lot of mandates have been made to electrify fleets by 2030. We do that. We help with grants. We help with the development process. Again, really great EV team here at OYA that's going to be able to work with you every step of the way. Battery storage is something that people overlook often, just in terms of the new offtake that you're going to have with an electric vehicle charger. We've got a great team that's going to help you look at all these different solutions for in terms of renewable energy. So we're not just the community solar developers. We are really a great turnkey solution for all things renewables. And that's about it. Once again, my name is Ethan. Thank you for joining the webinar. If you're on LinkedIn, thank you for stopping by as well. I'm just going to open up a brief Q&A period where I can answer some questions. And I'll hand things back over to Janet to kind of run that process. But thank you again. Appreciate your time, and I hope to hear from you soon.
Thanks, Ethan. That was great. I think we just have a couple of questions here. One of them is about incentives. In this one, Jeanette writes, at present, there is a lot of money in federal and state incentives passing along savings to users. But what is the anticipated increase in what time frame in energy costs once the incentives disappear? Initial savings look good, but what about the long term? And then I think her second question is a little bit a different topic. So why don't we answer that one first?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really great question. In terms of community solar savings, you're going to receive those savings as long as the project exists. So the project runs for 25 years. The agreement lasts for 25 years, and you will see those community solar credits and savings for that 25-year period. I'm not sure if you're talking about other possible incentives or grants. In terms of the $5,000 grant for subscribing 10 residents, I know that money that it's been put forward eventually will run out, which is why it's so important to kind of be pushing this along now, getting those residents subscribed so we can help with that application process and make sure that money's going to all the best places for you guys.
Okay, and then Jeanette has another question about sourcing. Where do we source our panels? And what is your recycling plans for the panels? So I think in short, I think I'm going to answer this one if that's okay with you, Ethan. In terms of sourcing our panels, we're both not involved in the construction team, which would be where they would be involved with sourcing your panels. So Jeanette, if you want to write Ethan an email and just say, oh, could you follow up with this question? We'll be more than happy to answer you. So I just don't want to say anything now that is not necessarily true or accurate. As for recycling plans for panels, in recent years, recycling has become increasingly more available for solar panels and more of an option. So with all of our solar farms, we have a plan for decommissioning. And of course, minimizing our impact on the environment is something that we hold as one of our top priorities. And then again, also this is something that we do have a bit of time to plan for with the 25 plus and even 40-year lifespan of these projects, which will certainly give us some time to utilize the most innovative recycling. All right. Gail is asking, is OYA Renewables involved in leasing land for solar farms outside the state of New York? So I'll turn this back to Ethan.
So I don't handle much of the leasing side. We do have a really great team that does. If you want to send me an email afterwards, I can get you in touch with a member from our land team. I'm sure they'd be able to answer that question a lot better than I do. I specifically do subscription for community solar projects. But yeah, no, I'd be happy to get you in touch with our land team.
Okay, and then does Jeanette ask again, does OYA issue reports to account holders in excess of 10% savings that are held for future billing? Yeah, Ethan, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, so there is a really great website that we distribute to our subscribers where you can see the credits that have been generated by your account. Specifically for the ones that are being saved. I don't believe that's available for our subscribers. We're constantly updating and adapting that resource, but there is a way for you to see your savings and total aggregate savings over your lifetime as a subscriber, and that's in a dashboard that we will give you access once you subscribe and once you're signed up to one of our projects.
Okay, and then Nicole asks, where can we find more information about NYSERDA incentives for municipalities?
Nicole, was it?
Yeah.
Nicole, if you send me an email, I can send you a lot of great resources. NYSERDA's got a ton of great information about these grants. It's all funded by them. So happy to share that with you if you want to send me an email after this. It's right there at the bottom, Ethan.McSpurren at OYARenewables.com. Yeah, got a good package that answers probably some of those questions, along with some of the material that we've used in the past and kind of what those campaigns look like when we set them up in municipalities.
Okay, and then Samuel asks, can OYA help as a co-developer for a community microgrid project in Virginia? We're generating for the community. I've gotten an okay. Congratulations, an okay from the central grid provider to buy back energy from our microgrid. So it sounds like a great project.
It's a great question, and good on you. But again, for me, that's kind of out of my scope. I do have people on our team who are looking into possibly into other states in terms of community solar there, but I don't know specifically how we would handle that. But again, if you email me, I can get you in touch with people on our team who definitely would be able to better answer that question. As it, in terms of Virginia, though, I'm not sure now.
Yeah, so we can put you in contact with some people on the team who are more involved with these projects that involve on-site generation and microgrids. We do have a team that can help you out with that and then evaluate whether there's something that we would want to be a co-developer on. Okay, and then Jeanette asks again, she says, but there are present issues for recycling with damage to solar farms, not just putting it off for a couple of decades. At OYA, we're lucky we haven't had to deal with a lot of damage to our farms in recycling to this point, to my knowledge. So but there are companies, and I can send you some resources if you want to send Ethan again an email. I can send you some resources. There's one company I've talked to the person who started it and owned it, and she's really driving, and she's really driving the movement forward to do recycling for solar farms. So this is, I think, something that the industry as a whole is really it really aligns with our general mission to be good to the environment and sustainable. So yeah, I can send you more information about that. And then she also asks, how do we find out what projects are available for a community solar plan and its productivity? Ethan, back to you.
So in terms of its productivity, we've got a bunch of really great information sheets that pertain to all of our projects. Again, one of the ones that I have been looking for National Grid customers to sign up for, Independence East. Got lots of information that we can send you about the projects themselves, what the kind of offset is in terms of how many cars we're taking off the road, how many tons of CO2 we're saving, and the money that would actually be saved by different people on accounts for those community solar projects. It's tough to know the savings of the actual subscriber themselves without actually seeing the bills. So the best way to kind of understand that information is to, if you send us a bill, we can let you know pretty much right away how much you would be saving on a month-to-month basis, on a year-to-year basis, and then over the 25 years of being involved in the project. So the best thing to do is to kind of understand the accounts. But in terms of actual data and information about the solar projects, yeah, happy to share that information with you about project to project across the state. If you want to send me an email, I can send you a bunch of great flyers that we have in the information sheets about that.
So here we have a question on, they just wanted a brief description of OYA services. So they came in a little bit late. So we can just do a recap for them quickly, and then we have a couple more questions.
Yeah, for sure. So in terms of other services, we do some on-site. So we got teams that can build solar panels. I'd say our next best initiative would be our EV program. Really great electrical vehicle team helping with kind of all the phases of implementing EV chargers. That through the NYSERDA Make Ready program and the federal NEVI program, which are both grants that help communities and folks access money for installing, fixed costs, maintenance, actual parts, and the whole setup behind EV. So really great team working kind of through each step of the way for EV there. Geothermal, in terms of site assessments, understanding, which type of heating or cooling systems it would be best for each type of home or business. And then obviously we can work with battery storage. And then obviously our best asset is our community solar. Lots of projects across the state, with some good capacity and more coming in the future for lots of potential subscribers down the road. So I can maybe just jump back to the slide beforehand. Yeah, so there you go. You see solar power, battery storage, EV charging, geothermal. And also we might be able to make this deck available for folks who attended the webinar in the future, as well as a recording. So if you missed any of it, we will probably make that available.
Okay, and then Jeanette's also asking, do you have limits on the number of subscribers / the size per project?
Eventually there is a limit. As of right now, you probably couldn't find a big enough project or a big enough subscriber that we couldn't put on a project. We have lots of space for National Grid customers. We've got some space for NYSEG customers as well. You know, we're looking here to get municipal buildings and residents and businesses in multiple municipalities signed up. So we're looking to bring on a lot of capacity, lots of availability though, and no real limit to unless you have a Walmart in your back pocket that you would like to put on community solar. We have more than enough capacity to fit new subscribers and lots more in the future coming as well. So good question though. Thank you.
Just to add to that, there is a certain top limit for New York on the size of the project. So for each project, we put as many businesses, individual households, or like municipalities on a project that will fit. But then, of course, they get filled up. And then if some people move for some reason and then more space opens up, then we'll open up that space to new subscribers. So once it is full, there is some minimal limit on the number of large demand subscribers. That's companies that use a lot of energy for each community solar project, with the whole intention that other users will get access to this program. And then GRCS asks, or give us a reply via the link. Yeah, we will provide for all of the attendees and people who have registered. We send out an email usually the day after with a link to the video recording so you can watch again and share with your subscribers. And then we have 2 more questions. One is anonymous, and then they ask, do you assist with RFQ and grant submissions?
Yes, we do. The grants that I talked about before, in terms of getting a certain amount of subscribers signed up, we do help with that. All that, the submission for grants. That process can be annoying and complicated, and we want to make sure that anyone who can apply for those things does. And we've got a great team that's helped out with that stuff in the past. And again, we want to be with you every step of the way in terms of community solar. So absolutely, yes, is the answer to that question.
And then we're just going to have one last question. And this one is about the requirements for enrolling in a community solar program. And they asked if the requirement is by county or town. So maybe Ethan, you can just do a quick review of what the requirements are or how someone is eligible to enroll in a community solar program.
Yeah, great question. And not to keep repeating this line, but community solar for all is very important. To be, aware that it doesn't matter the size of your house or where you are in the state. If you're getting your energy from the utility companies that we provide access or provide community solar to, you can sign up for community solar. It doesn't matter which county you're in. If you're a National Grid customer, you can subscribe to a National Grid community solar project regardless of where it is as well. So there aren't a ton of limits. I very seldom see an account that can't be signed up. The only thing I would really ever see where I would think an account wouldn't be appropriate for community solar is if it was way too small or way too big. And those two ranges are extremes as well. So most, if not, you can't say all, but essentially all people who want to subscribe, their businesses, their houses, schools, their community centers, libraries, corner stores, which use a ton of power, by the way, with all those fridges. As long as the biggest requirement is where you're receiving your power from. And in terms of OYA, we work well with National Grid and NYSERDA customers.
Thanks, Ethan. Okay, so that was all of our questions. That was quite a few questions. Thanks, everybody. We always appreciate that. Again, we've directed a couple of people to, we would like to give you more information. We can have the answer directly for you now. Just please email or even give Ethan a call. His number is right down there and his email address is also down there. You can also then in the next few days, we're going to be posting the recording. We encourage everybody to share that with anybody in their network who you think may benefit from seeing it. So once again, thanks everybody for attending, and thanks Ethan for giving us a lot of great information there.
Thanks everyone. Again, really appreciate you coming out and hope to hear from you soon.